There are only about 4 months left for the CA Foundation. In January 2025, and I haven't done any significant studying yet. My dream is to score over 350 marks. Can you help me with this? Is this dream still achievable? I would say it is definitely achievable. You need to first have confidence in yourself and then trust me and my strategy. If you note this down and implement it, then definitely you can score 350 plus marks in the CA Foundation, January 2025. So, brother, I have written down some points that you need to keep in mind first. Now, brother, you are thinking of scoring almost 90% in a course like the CA Foundation within 4 months, aiming to get around 90% marks. You have 6 months, but it is not an easy task. It will require a lot of hard work, and considerable effort will be needed, but you will be able to do it. If you do, as I say, it is not an easy task. So get ready, brace yourself. The time for thinking and contemplating is over now. It's time to take action. You will need to study here for about 10 to 12 hours almost every day, and I am not setting a specific time. Basically, you need to study with a target-based approach. You should decide tonight before going to bed what you will study tomorrow. The target should be achievable, but not too easy. Yes, you will have to set daily targets and study for 10 to 12 hours every day. All right, we will have to stop our little family gatherings and outings. If we work hard properly for these 4 months, we can easily score over 300 marks, and that will boost our confidence. After that, there are many benefits, such as receiving various scholarships. In addition, when you go for a job later, you benefit from having scored so well in the CA Foundation. After that, your conference will come, which I can bring you into the intermediate level. Keep in mind that scoring these marks is not beneficial if you study for 12 hours one day and then 34 hours the next day. Consistency is key. If you study for 8 hours according to your weighted average, it would be better to study for 10 hours every day. However, you need to maintain consistency. It's not enough to study for 1 day and then not study for 2 days. You must maintain consistency. And this consistency is the biggest factor that will help you score over 300 marks. Also, you need to keep everyone has off days. That means everyone will have a bad day. If there is a day when you don't study, don't fall into guilt thinking, I won't be able to do anything today. It's okay if you are not able to study. Brother, everyone has a bad day, but don't let that bad day ruin the next 2 days. If you didn't study on a particular day, that's okay. It's not a problem. Move forward, see what went wrong, and try to fix it. Moreover, if you think you can do it, then you can do it. If you are thinking that you want to score over 300 marks, then you can achieve it. Trust in this, trust in yourself, and trust in your thoughts. Definitely, we will make it happen. Now, brother, you should know that we have 4 subjects: accounting, business law, quantitative aptitude, and business economics. Now, I assume that there is no child who excels in all 4 subjects, nor is there any child who is weak in all 4 subjects. There may be any child here who has 1 or 2 weak subjects, or who is strong in all 12 subjects. Every child will have 2 subjects that are strong for them, while 2 subjects will generally be weaker. Most children face difficulties with business, law, and the situation in contempt of court can vary a bit. So the first thing we need to look at in our weak area is how we can achieve a good score in it, and what our strong area is. Let's suppose, if it's accounting or economics, you need to think about scoring as many mocks as possible. Don't just leave it thinking, I'll do it later when it's easier. Brother, this is the biggest mistake you are making. Now, brother, you know there are 4 subjects and approximately 120 days, which is about 30 days of time. So I am trying to show you this repeatedly. Time is very limited. You have 11 days, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds, which are precious. Try to understand this from here. Now look, I have covered everything within the entire syllabus for each of your subjects. It has been written about 3 things: that children face difficulties in some subjects, what you need to follow, and what you should focus on. Alright, if you have focused and identified the problem, acknowledging that yes, I also have difficulties, and you have taken steps to address it, then definitely you can easily score 89 or 90 in every subject, and that will help you achieve an aggregate of around 300 marks. Today, we first talked about accounts. The syllabus for accounts has been divided into 2 parts, Module 1 and Module 2. Module 1 contains some basic chapters, such as journal, ledger, trial balance, subsidy, cash, rectification, reserves, bill of exchange, BRS, depreciation and inventory, and final accounts. Module 2 includes some more detailed chapters, such as NPO accounts, accounts from incomplete records, partnership accounts, and company accounts. The marks for Module 1 are 40 to 50, and the marks for Module 2 are 50 to 55. Brother, whether we want to score over 300 marks or not, passing is essential. So, our priority should be Module 1. Alright, first of all, we need to prioritize Module 1 and finish it as soon as possible. Sir, what we need to do is focus on Module 1 in your studies. I have written down what needs to be done. You just need to finish module 1 first. When I talk about accounts in the context of timely menon, what difficulties do children face? The main problem is practice. Children feel overwhelmed by the number of questions and wonder how they will manage so many. They need to try solving problems. It is an investment. If they don't practice, their accounting skills will weaken. All right, it will take time. We agree, but practice is essential, sir. Where will the practice come from? The students think they need to study different professors. But brother, if you are doing IC Dual, ICAI, MTP, RTP, and previous year questions, well, then 100% of the paper will come from here, more than 95% or 90%. There is nothing else to do. There is nothing else to do. Just focus on the questions in the IC module, whether they are practical questions or related to registration. You should only work on MTP, RTP, and previous questions. Either do these or use the perfect practice book, which you must have heard of, as it is perfect in itself. Every time, 95% of the paper comes from here. And the perfect practice book is nothing but the best merging of all, the ICM modules, RTPs, and previous questions. Basically, if you attempt to solve all the questions from any chapter, you will find a minimum of 50 questions. Now, doing 80 questions from each chapter is not feasible for every student, as time is also limited. So what we have done is compiled the ICM module RTP previous questions. It's not like every time ICM is creating a new question. For example, the same question has appeared in the ICM module, in the RTP, in the MT, and has come up twice in previous questions. So we have noted down that this question has appeared here, 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 and here. All right, so somewhere we ended up writing one question instead of creating those 7 questions and provided its reference below. So it's important for you to know that while revising, if you are aware of ICAI's favorite questions, it can help you a lot. With the perfect book, you also get video solutions, which is like icing on the cake. Additionally, there are doubt classes available. So for practice, you can choose to work on ICAI model, RTP, MT, or previous year questions, whichever you prefer. So practice needs to be done very well. It should be perfect practice. Apart from that, children face another difficulty with accounts, which is revision. Brother, revision. How to revise the techniques of society and accounts. It's a practical subject. So what will happen? How will it happen? So I said, buddy, take the pension. When you were studying for the first time, whether you were studying from anywhere, whether you took offline coaching, online coaching, attended our lectures, or watched YouTube lectures, whatever you did, those notes are what you will need. You have to revise directly from the notes. And that's why I say, the notes should be absolutely neat, clean, and proper. All right, the notes should be absolutely neat, clean, and proper. You need to revise using those notes. They will be useful repeatedly. Therefore, you need to make your notes very well. Even if you are starting to read for the first time, you should still make great notes. Don't think that time is short. Whatever you are doing, give it your 100%. The first thing is to take notes. After that, when you were attempting the questions for the first time, out of the 20 questions in that perfect practice set, you found only 4 questions that were unique, lengthy, and difficult to solve. So brother, just mark those questions. During the revision time, you only need to focus on 4 questions. You can manage with the remaining 14 questions at a surface level. So it is important to understand the revision, notes, and pay attention to the starred questions. And the child who understands this concept finds it easy to revise accounts. Otherwise, revision of accounts would not happen. Just understand the matter from anyone and follow what needs to be done, sir. It needs to be followed in accounts. Son, you need to understand the CPT or infinite strategy and the concept very well. First of all, it's important to have a good understanding of the concepts because nowadays the papers you are facing have started to become concept-based in some way. Grasp concepts, take notes, and practice well. Practice perfectly. Once you understand, you need to take the test. After that, students think the test is timed, but it is not timed. It is an investment. Test, so you will realize where things are going wrong, which topics you understand and which you do not. This will help you a lot in your revision. After that, revision is important. What does revision mean? You take the test and keep revising repeatedly. Haji, you need to revise. Your journal entry has been completed. You took the test base and the ledger trial balance has been prepared. Now that the ledger is done, you need to revise the generator again. Alright, yes. When the trial balance is done, you need to revise both the journal and the ledger. This way you should do cumulative revision. And then you can think that yes, my dream of scoring over 350 marks and this aspiration can definitely be fulfilled. You have to trust yourself. You might think that Sir is wasting time. These things won't waste your time, brother. It may feel like half an hour is being wasted at first. But wait, after 34 days of studying, you will see everything is in my mind. I still have everything I have studied so far. Just get me the paper, and I will pass for good marks and concepts for my children. If you are facing difficulties, sir, we haven't taken lectures for concepts either. You know that the CA Foundation OTT has brought a revolution in the CA industry, and within it, you get this CA Foundation, OTT. The subscription is cheaper than Netflix, costing you around 450 rupees per month. if you take a 6-month subscription, you can opt for the CA Foundation, TT. A 1-month subscription plan is also available, for which you can pay 30, 40, 40 rupees or log into our website. All right, besides that, what do we need to focus on? We need to focus on the presentation for the kids in the account. You don't pay attention to the presentation in the account. You think the account is off work. You create all the accounts in the rough. You just finish your ledger format by making it into a T. Brother, there are marks for presentation. 30 to 40% of the marks are for the working notes of the presentation. So, from the start, get into the habit of proper presentation. Learn to write debit and credit. All these things should be formatted properly. So I say, from the very first day, when you are attempting the count, questions, try to solve 50% of the questions properly. 50% of the questions should be done in rough. Because in the end, if you have been doing questions in rough for the entire year, or the whole 4 months, when you finally go to take the exam, or the full course test, you will wonder how to present everything in one go. That's why I say, at least 50% of the questions you practice in the IC module should be done in a fully proper format, the rough work. I am talking about should include 50% of the time spent on those rough questions. In addition, you will need to check the ICAI weightage. So please visit the ICAI website where the weightage is provided, indicating where marks are deducted for presentation. You can check this information from ICAI. In addition, we have also discussed one paper here where a student scored 90 plus, so you can take a look at that as well. Now, if we talk about the law, syllabus for my children, it consists of 11 units under the Contract Act, and besides that, there are other chapters. This means that my children will need as much time to study this as they would for the other chapters. So, first of all, to score over 350, you need to pass. So, focus on the other chapters first, and then move on to the contract. If you want to start, first complete the contract. There's no problem with that. The issue that arises is that you forget things. You might wonder how much you should remember, since it's a theory subject, and sometimes it just doesn't get written down. Just the trouble is sad. So, brother, don't forget the flame. What are you talking about? Don't forget. Listen and understand. First, you need to understand this well. Everyone can do it. You need to understand it thoroughly. And after that, what you need to do is practice writing. What you need to do is practice writing. Again and again, you read the offer, for example. Today, you read the offer as much as you could remember and understand. All right, everything was understood. I stopped, and then I saw how many lines I could write. So from what I had read, how much percentage I was able to write. You may not be able to write even 40% at the start, but gradually it will become 100%. Additionally, you need to practice writing the questions from the ICA modules RTP, MT, and previous questions. The theory subject requires you to practice returns as much as possible. The more you practice, the better it will get. The person who scored 5 marks in law also mentioned that practicing returns was helpful, and nothing else works. You need to follow the same strategy for the CPT and create concept notes. They are following the PP for practice, taking tests, and doing infinite revisions. After taking the offer, they are reading the acceptance. Once they finish reading the acceptance, they will revise the offer. In this way, you need to do cumulative revision moving forward. The problem is that, son, things are not remembered or not written down. You will face the same issue, and the focus should be on doing as much writing practice as possible. If I dedicate 30 minutes daily to writing practice, my life will become easier. We need to focus on the keywords. In law, the straightforward truth is that no one remembers anything. In law, you don't have to write everything today. The book language has a few keywords that need to be written. For example, consideration is a legal term. You cannot write it as amount. So pay close attention to this type of words, case law. It's a straightforward matter. And focus as much as possible on your answer presentation, which will come into play when you start writing answers during the test. So if you focus on this, there won't be any difficulties in law. 3 minutes of writing practice is in a way the elixir for this. Panacea is about developing the habit of writing for every difficulty in law for 30 minutes. If I talk about quantitative aptitude, my children have a syllabus match in our 3 parts. 40% is status and 20% is LR. Right, brother? If I talk about the match, the follow strategy inside the match is the same as the CPTR infrastructure strategy. But what is the problem? The first thing about the match is the quantitative aptitude, brother, phobia. It is just fear. Nothing but is it fear. This is just a fear factor, brother. Nothing else but in the match. If this fear is removed from the mind, then it becomes easy for quantitative analysis. The second thing is that the formulas can be a bit tricky. Some children have a phobia, while most others do not. Brother, I understand that you are afraid of the match, but the statistics show that there is a 60% chance of passing. So, you can do it from here. Just get rid of the fear. Focus on the important chapters with your mind. If you are afraid of the match, then just rough it out. You will easily manage 20%. You need to score at least 20 marks. Complete the chapters on major of center, disposition, correlation, degradation, index number, statistical description, and data within the starts. In the match, focus on time value of money, which means mathematics, finance, ratio, proportion, and sequences. Also, work on series. A 60-mark paper will come. Focus here. when scoring 50 to 55 marks here, approach the remaining chapters in this way. It's all good. No tension, brother. There's no need to panic. Remember, studies involve concept practice tests and revision. What should be done for effective revision? Keep practicing the questions related to accounts systematically and revise them repeatedly. In addition, what to focus on? Focus, my son, is solely on doing the ICAI module in Mass Salar. Do the ICAI module questions as many times as possible. The ICAI module questions are fine. So you need to repeatedly practice the ICAI module questions and take as many tests as possible. Remember, the more tests you take whenever there is a paper, the more beneficial it will be for you. Just and only. It's as simple as that. Look for perfect practice or the ICAI module RT PMT pass. If you don't have much RT or PMTV, then you need to practice for it. That's why I keep saying that you must do the ICE module repeatedly, but you also need to work on the questions outside of that for perfect practice. All right? Yes. And remember that you do not need to do additional caching in the mass salary. Only and only the mathematics finance addition question bank needs to be done. There is no need to cover any chapter in stats. Speaking of economics, the economics syllabus is divided into 3 parts: microeconomics, macroeconomics, and Indian economics. All right, this lesson is easy for the kids. This part is also somewhat easy to remember, but macroeconomics usually gives most children trouble. Now, brother, the strategy will remain the same. Concept, practice, test, revision, infinite. But what is the problem with this? The problem is that students take it lightly. Brother, in the load scheme, we used to take it lightly. But now here we have macroeconomics, public finance, international trade, and chapters like national income. So this should not be taken lightly. If you start early, you will be able to manage your time better. So this still a scoring subject. Now you can comfortably score 90 plus in it. If you have understood things properly, then... So, the only problem in 1 is that you take it lightly and start very late. Then you think, sir, I can't remember anything. So, brother, it's not like before. Now it will take time. There are 10 chapters. They are good chapters. So what you need to do is focus and only that. You need to start on time soon. Build your understanding of the concepts and practice questions more frequently to take the test. It's as simple as that. If you follow these studies, you can definitely score 350 plus. Just focus on the problems and their solutions, and you will definitely be able to achieve it. If you have watched the video until the end, then in my opinion, you are 100% interested in scoring all 3 marks. And definitely, as I said, if you can think it, you can do it. A great person has said to get to work, so let's meet. Until the next video, goodbye so much.